Hello, in this PowerPoint we'll be talking about network connections. The first type of connections I would like to talk about is wired connections. Wired connection has a wide variety of methods and are used to connect computers to one another. The option used will depend on the distance between the computers and the bandwidth required, the cost of the connections, and whether the wireless or wired connection is desired. The first one we'll talk about is right here, and this is a fiber optic cable. They transfer data by sending light down an extremely thin glass tube. Fiber optic connections are extremely fast, able to transfer data well over 40 gigabits per second. Each cable is able to contain multiple independent optical fibers. Fiber optics also suffer less signal loss than other cables when traveling long distances. However, they are extremely expensive, around $70 per meter, and this has been meant to update, but home and even businesses users have been relatively slow. At the moment, fiber optics are used for high-speed backbone connections, which deal with huge volumes of traffic. So basically, what that's saying is that fiber optic cables are really expensive and that they're not really used readily a lot. So even when you're at your house, basically what will happen is that they'll put fiber optic cable right up to your house so that they can send the bandwidth to your house, but then they'll still use old cable from like the street to get it to your house. Like, you don't actually have fiber optic all the way to your house. The next one we're going to talk about is cable internet access, and this is the most common form of broadband internet access in home. It uses existing cable from television networks to transfer data, and it removes the need to install a whole new system. And this is the common DSL, which is a digital subscriber line. Connections use existing telephone networks, and a cable modem is used to convert the data for use over the network. The main advantage of this is it's pretty high speed, but it's cheap, and that's just mainly the thing. This one is dial-up, and that's old technology, and that connects computers to a network using a standard telephone line, because the computers are digital but the telephone lines are analog, and these computers must be connected to a modem, a modulator, demodulator, to use a telephone network in this way. Dial-up connections were common before the broadband internet access became widely available, so like pre-2001. And they are really slow. The highest, like really fast internet was 56 kps. And it can't really use, and the telephone line couldn't be used for anything else while it was connected, so it made it kind of a hassle. And like telephone connections, it was paid for by the minute, which quickly became very expensive. And then the main cable to connect all the computers and everything is an Ethernet cable, and is used in a number of ways. And this context refers to the Ethernet cables that are standard cables used for many local area networks. Ethernet cables can transfer data at high speeds over relatively short distances, usually about less than 100 meters. Different versions of Ethernet exist, including an Ethernet 100 megabit per second and a 10 gigabit Ethernet cable. Even faster connections can attain by using multiple cables. 100 gigabit Ethernet cables use this technique. Computers on Ethernet networks must have a network card that supports this network being used. So basically, these are just the main kinds of wired connections. Wireless connections. There are three main types of wireless connections. WiMAX is a new up-and-coming, or not up-and-coming, but it is a wireless technology designed to transfer data over distances up to 50 kilometers, and bandwidth is relatively high, over 50 megabytes per second, but reduces with distance. WiMAX is well suited providing internet access to homes in areas where line cables would be difficult, or providing a hotspot's access to large areas such as cities. So basically, it can be used in rural areas or somewhere where it's hard there for it to be used, that someone has like it says here, it's like a cafe and a home are all using this WiMAX portal, tower here, and everyone's kind of just connecting to it. And then what it does is it transfers to the station, and then it gives the place Wi-Fi so you can connect to it. And then what's Wi-Fi? Wi-Fi stands for wireless fidelity, and it's a standard for wirelessly connecting devices in a really small area, such as an office. Wi-Fi devices connect to a wireless router, and from the internet, the wireless networks have become common as the number of laptop computers or mobile devices increases. Many hotels, cafes, and shops now offer wireless hotspots. Pretty much Wi-Fi is just the thing that's starting to spring up everywhere. And it's just something. Another one is Bluetooth, and it's a wireless technology used for short distances, and it's or a personal area network. Bluetooth is used to connect computers to mobile phones, or other mobile devices. And then you have a 2G, 3G, 3.5G, 4G, and now there's 4G LTE. 4G beforehand was like when you just had regular 4G, that was actually 3.5G, and when you have 4G LTE, that's actually 4G regular. I know it's confusing. It's because no one wanted to go like when Sprint was launching their 4G line or whatever in like 2009. They want to say they had 3.5G. They wanted to say 4G because 4G was pretty far away, and 3.5G or traditional 4G is not really that much faster than 3G, but 4G LTE is pretty fast. Um, Basically, they are just standard mobile technology ways to communicate. Most of Africa is still on 2G, except for like South America, South Africa, and Egypt. And yeah, those are basically the main wireless connections. And that's kind of what all it is. I mean, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. And then measuring network speed. The amount of data in a network can be transferred at once is referred to as the bandwidth. Older dial-up connections are referred to as narrowband because they're very low speed. Broadband is higher bandwidth networks that are needed for tasks involving large amounts of data transfer, including video conferencing, voice over IP, and quickly downloading large files. Bandwidth is measured in bits per second, and kilobits per second, and megabits per second, and gigabits per second. Okay, yeah, and that's about